little report on my crypto experience of the past 2 weeks. I went to Singapore and Malaysia as a tourist with my girlfriend and my baby, and to check it out. It was much fun, but I also wanted to check out the crypto scene because in Kenya, where I live, there is little going on. But of course Singapore, Malaysia should be going on a lot more. So I checked it out, and indeed there was one Ethereum meetup that I went to in Kuala Lumpur, and then there was one also Bitcoin Cash meetup that I attended in Singapore at the end of the trip. And then right before the Bitcoin Cash meetup there was also a congress, two congresses actually, lucky me, one of CoinMarketCap and one of Cointelegraph, and the second one is called The Block. The first one was called The Capital. Blockshow was the second one of Cointelegraph, and Blockshow I went to. I didn't go to Cointelegraph because I got scammed buying the tickets. Somebody impersonated the CoinMarketCap organizer and got me wow. Yeah. But also then I want to buy the ticket because finally I was from the waiting list on the day of the Congress. Finally I can buy a ticket, before I couldn't. And then I noticed I can't even buy it with crypto. I think that's unbelievable. As a crypto conference, that you don't allow people to buy tickets with crypto is a total failure in my book, and really not worth attending the conference. Because wow, there's a limit to the amount of bullshit I can take, and that certainly exceeds it. But I did go to a Blockshow, and what I mean with that is you have to make it happen. It's like you do a conference about how great the internet is, but you don't offer internet access, or you don't offer like on your conference, even not paid. Well, what the fuck? Like, yeah, you have to really like do it. It's not only talking; doing is also very important. Talkers are losers. There is no value in people that just talk. Nothing happens with talking. The only real thing that happens is with people that do. That's why I think it's bullshit. It's not acceptable that people that talk about it and promote it, organize a congress around it, but don't allow you to use it in any form, not even the simplest form of buying a ticket, which is an online event. It's like very easy to implement. Why would you not do that? That's extreme negligence. It just exposes the values of the organizers. In this case, it's CoinMarketCap. It's very disappointing because I use that website a lot, and this is what they do. That's very disappointing. But the other one did allow it, but it used some kind of payment service. Was it Didlido or Dingigo or anyway, I will post it in the description, more correct the name. But that payment provider did not allow to use Bitcoin Cash, sadly. And actually this is the same one that also does the Trezor. You can buy Trezor on the Trezor website, a great offline wallet, but also there Bitcoin Cash is not accepted because the payment provider dropped it a year ago or 2 years ago when when there was a Bitcoin Cash war, and you had Bitcoin as V-forking of Bitcoin Cash, and due to that they dropped it because they were afraid the payments would not be reliable. But they still have dropped it today, so it's clearly a political decision. The payments always were reliable during that event, and so their fear was well, not proven right, but they still dropped it today, which clearly is Bitcoin core maximalism behavior by a payment provider. It's also crap, but okay. There is value to be had on conferences for me too. I don't do these things normally. I think actually it's a waste of time and of my energy, but I have to admit that I did miss a great opportunity because of this attitude in 2015-16. I believe that if I would have attended conferences, I would have like maybe opened my eyes to Ethereum, which I did not do, and that costed me a lot of missed opportunity. So that's why I said, oh, come, let's go to a conference and check it out. And so I went for two reasons. I wanted to see what, like, what's the vibe of such a conference, what's living in the world of cryptocurrency. I want to inform myself. But I ended up promoting Bitcoin Cash for the most part, wearing t-shirt and hat and talking to people about it and giving some free Bitcoin Cash to people that were interested. That was fun. I had some poisonous responses also. So Richard Hart, and also I talked shortly with him, and also with Tone Vase. Yeah, I think that like I didn't find any project that I found interesting on that conference, but again, I didn't really dig so deep. Maybe I'm just not open-minded. I noticed that Ethereum was not mentioned anywhere, to my surprise. Even the word Bitcoin was very rare to see. There were almost no cryptocurrencies represented. I saw Ethereum Classic as one of the only currencies mentioned there, but then it ended up being a corporation, and the lady who was sitting at the booth didn't promote it. So it's strange. This Blockshow conference was all of companies that have some kind of service running, and they run it on different platforms. They run it on Ethereum and on EOS and on. Yeah. What I heard was that the crowd was bullish. There was like, who thinks it will go up? It was like 90% of the room. I was not there, but I wish I had seen that. Someone else told me about it. That confirms for me that probably, yes, we are going to go sideways and test the bottom, since most 90% of people are bullish. That's not good. But when it comes to projects, what I heard is that actually 1 year ago everything was about ICOs. Today, not anymore. That topic is done. So it was a more serious congress, a more serious conference, where people really try to show what value they have to offer. So that's a good sign, and also confirms that yes, we might have indeed seen the start of the bull market here, because things have become more serious. But at the same time, I would say that there's still air in the market. So yeah, that was it. Interesting to talk with Richard Hart and Tone Vase, but typically, yeah, of course, I'm not impressed with their calls at all, and I've shared that online also, and talked about that also shortly with them. But yeah, I think that overall, it's the same with analysts as it is with the companies. There's not much quality in the crypto market. Same with the companies, same with the cryptocurrencies. There are very few quality offerings, and you have to find it. So, and actually, that's very few people are interested in that also. It's all about trying to make a buck, and short term is prioritized above the long term. It certainly will be a fight. There was a congress, a topic about payment. How is it going with crypto as a payment? And I listened shortly, and some panelists said that yeah, Bitcoin is not useful anymore as a payment. It does not make sense. It's too expensive. It just doesn't make economical sense to use that anymore. Someone said of the panel, but I didn't hear any mention about Bitcoin Cash. So at the end, I asked the question, and also 10x was sitting there. So I noticed I'm trying to use Bitcoin Cash as much as possible, and you notice 10x doesn't accept Bitcoin Cash on its website, so you can't charge your Visa card or MasterCard with Bitcoin Cash. So I also asked, like, why not implement also Bitcoin Cash? And he said, oh, we're just listening to popular demand, and the only demand we get is to use Bitcoin and a little bit of Ethereum, but nothing else. So that's why we implemented. So yeah, later I talked with them, and yeah, he repeated that. He said that yeah, there's just no demand for it, and that's why we don't implement Bitcoin Cash. And someone else. And I also approached the organizer of Blockshow, and I also asked him the same, and he said that. He said that well, yeah, the payment provider they use, yeah, they can't easily switch to another one because that one is really focused on events, and so that's what the argument that he gave. So yeah, those were my observations. What I also need to mention is how was the Ethereum meetup and the Bitcoin Cash meetup, because that was more interesting. The Ethereum meetup was interesting. There was a presentation for beginners that were about maybe 5 people watching. There was also a presentation for developers, and it was like 8 people, maybe even 10. That were there to learn how to develop on Ethereum, and I think that's very very interesting. And Bitcoin Cash meetup was maybe 10 people, 15 people tops that came there, but yeah, I sadly I missed speaking to half because I was speaking to the other half a lot. And a few were from employed by Bitcoin.com, but I didn't meet the organizer that was very passionate about Bitcoin Cash, and we were able to make our payments there with Bitcoin Cash. And I also visited another place in Singapore where I could buy food and drinks with Bitcoin Cash. I like that. But overall, and there were no other crypto meetups that. And that was also interesting. Like, it's rare to find crypto meetups in the world, and there were no other for the 2 weeks that I'm here in Malaysia, Singapore. I didn't find via meetup.com any other coins at that meetup. So to me that speaks volumes. It means that Bitcoin Cash does have a community. For example, I couldn't see a meetup about Dash or Zcash or Monero. No, Bitcoin Cash has a community, unlike so many others, or a much bigger community, a much more driven community, and also, I mean, Dash also has a community, Monero also has a community, but I think it's much smaller, and yeah, momentum, size and momentum is very important, and Ethereum, yeah, that's just it confirms my beliefs that this is not something you can, like, if you want to profit from crypto, you really need that in your portfolio, because, well, look, this is just shows it. Like, there were no developers on the Bitcoin Cash meetup, to my knowledge. Like, few people built something on top of Bitcoin Cash, let alone other coins. It's rare to find. It's just extremely unique how Ethereum succeeds to inspire so many developers to build something on top of it. Of course, it's also company driven, but yeah, I think this is it's comparable to the game industry at the time. The challenge for a game console, for example, to launch Xbox versus PlayStation, but there have been many others before, Atari and what were all the names, is to really attract the developers to your platform to build great games. That's going to make the difference. You have to inspire them, and Ethereum really succeeds in that. And there are already a lot of apps, of course only a few that are having traction, but it's the best that you can get in the crypto industry. A few things that are working, that are small but are working, is a lot already. That has like real users, a real utility. Is rare. So it just confirms for me that Ethereum is a great investment, should not be overlooked. Bitcoin Cash too, but not of the same size. But Ethereum is a lot bigger than Bitcoin Cash and will likely stay a lot bigger than Bitcoin Cash, is my opinion, for the foreseeable future. I mean, over the next boom, over the next bull run that will last 4 years or so. I think Ethereum will succeed in becoming the biggest coin. And many people don't think that, like today on the Congress, I also noticed that many people really like Bitcoin. Most people that I ask, how does their portfolio look? It's all the same story. 50, 60, 70% Bitcoin, BTC, Bitcoin Core, a little bit of Ethereum maybe, and then maybe some small coins for a small amount of their portfolio. You have to be ahead of the masses, not with the masses. If you have a portfolio like that, you are the masses. You are CoinMarketCap. Your portfolio looks exactly the same as the composition of the crypto market, but the composition of the crypto market will not stay the same. It changes constantly. Bitcoin Core has been losing lots of market share, will likely continue to lose market share. Some other coins will gain market share, as they have done in the past, like Ethereum, and will likely continue to do so. And that does change the rankings over time a lot. So you want to be ahead of that, not chase that. That's the art of investing.